Okay, guys, remember we are looking for main idea, at least two for the next section. Pay attention to those words and ideas and phrases that you see most often, and pay attention to the point that the author's trying to make, because as we're going to learn here in a little bit, those are very similar. So let's keep going. The result on both sides was an enthusiastic rush to enlist. So this is when the war started. Men crowded the recruitment centers in the nearest cities or signed with local organized units. Emotions ran so high that everywhere enlistment quotas were being met and surpassed easily. Caught up in all this were boys. Generally, boys from the North did not join the army because they felt a burning desire to stamp out slavery. One boy's comment about slavery is fairly typical. I do not know anything about it, whether it is a good thing or a bad thing, he wrote in a letter. Oh, there's a primary source. And when talk gets around to it, I say very little. Many joined because they wanted to take the defiant South and set them straight. But most signed up for a simpler reason: to escape the boring routine of farm life and take part in an exciting adventure. The same spirit of adventure and glory motivated Southern boys as well. A Mississippi recruit said he had joined to fight the Yankees, all fun and frolic. Primary source quote. But underneath the festive attitude was another deeply felt reason for serving: to defend their homes from a large invading army. One Southern boy made his feelings clear. I'd rather die than become a slave to the North. Each side had recruitment rules that expressly banned boys from joining and fighting. At the start of the war, for instance, the Union held that a recruit had to be at least 18 years old. In spite of this, a tall 14 or 15-year-old could easily blend into a crowd of men and slip through in a hurry to form a unit. Those questioned about their age might be able to bluff their way past a wary recruiting sergeant. Anyway, how could a recruiter check on an applicant's facts? These standard forms of identification we have today, such as a driver's license, social security number, and credit cards, did not exist back then. There were no computers or telephones either. Verifying someone's birthday was nearly impossible. Picture. Telegraph operators for the Union Army relaxed during the siege of Pittsburgh, Virginia. They were relaxing during a siege. Not something I think about doing. By far the easiest way for a boy to slip into the army was as a musician, especially as a drummer or a bugler. These were considered non-fighting positions, so recruiters often allowed a boy to sign on without worrying about his age. The Union Army alone had need for over 40,000 musicians, while an estimated 20,000 served for the South. Never thought about musicians going to war before. I guess they need them back then, or wanted them. Interesting to me. Many boys found it surprisingly simple to enlist for duty that would take them into the thick of the fighting. Thomas Galloway did. We heard from him earlier. The day after the surrender of Fort Sumter, Galloway visited a nearby armory run by a group called the Cleveland Greys. But they did not seem to me to be the sort of stuff that soldiers are made of, so I went away. That evening, I went to the armory of the Hibernian Guards. They seemed to like me, and I liked them, so together with Jim Butler and Jim O'Reilly, I enlisted with them. My name was the first on the company's roll to enlist. I didn't tell them that I was only 15, so I became a soldier. All right, we're going to have to pause here really quick. I'll post another video right after this, and I want you to be thinking about, okay, so far, here's the main idea of what we've read. You're more than welcome to rewind and listen again, or to go back and look through the video, pausing at each one to look and see if the words that if you can find those words that you see most often.